I am not a financial advisor. These videos are all meant for educational purposes only. All complete Trader Academy videos are my personal opinion and perspective. Trading carries a high level of risk, and all results are your own responsibility. Please always demo first. Hey everybody, welcome back to CTA Review. Today is March 10, Tuesday, 2026. Hope you had a good day today. So we discussed about up and down, a little bit neutral, sort of still bearish. Are they going to use inflation to push it up? And also with oil being a good indicator, right? So, I could pull up oil right now, but it's just whatever. Point is, we ended up having a kind of a slow grind up with some drives and speaker days possibly occurring. And then if you watch yesterday's video, clearly I talked about, when we take lows and bounce up, if we're bearish, that we would generally I want to see a pushback down, because what remember also something I didn't mention in the video, we don't have a bearish body on that gap. That tells me we're coming still back lower. I didn't mention that in yesterday's video. And then also, so another thing I forgot in yesterday's video is that we were above that 50%. I mentioned that we came to this, that weekly gap. I mentioned this already, but what was the point was that when it's indicative of being in the top half with the bodies, we're generally going to be going to higher prices. I mean, this is a side note. We had a lot of room on the overbought officially yesterday, and then now we're just hammering, drives up, slithering up. So, again, it did not come down first. So Asia and London, it didn't continue lower and then pop up. It dropped. Well, let me rephrase this. It didn't go up first. Sorry, I meant to say it did not go up first and then come down. That would have been more of a reversal day, possibly. And then also, but with it coming down with a little shallow push like this, back, like a retracement, I'm very weary of buying. Let's put it that way. And then we ended up slowly coming up to take out this guy right here and not that guy. And that's the divergence that we had for us pulling back, because S&P and Dow didn't hit that. But we're in the top quadrant of this old week gap, top 25%. It's right there, right? Pretty clear. And then, so yeah, bodies are staying inside the current day gap right there. And then we made a new high and sold off pretty good. And that's kind of where we are. I mean, pretty much an indecisive day starting to turn out in that way. It is still bullish, but we have plenty of time. They could come lower. But that might be the candle that comes in for the candle 2 closure as a reversal signal. Then candle 3 will push down. We'll see if this is the high of the week. I don't know, but I do know that there is no bearish body still sitting where our current week gap is. They're only offering the buy side, right? So, anyways, that's to preface the day, and then small range day actually as well. So you'll see that when we get a pullback like this, initially, the higher lows will stay strong. We won't rate them. Even we had 10 o'clock news today, but it wasn't a red folder. And that was another issue of why I didn't expect it to hit. I mean, I would have liked it to. It could have been a target for me, but this ended up being my target here. Initially, when we pushed up first, it really, it's a dump pump profile if it doesn't keep going. If it stops like the way it did really bogus here, NQ didn't take their lows out, but S&P and Dow did. And that was a divergence, and that's why this buy occurred. But the point is that when we were up here pushing up, I can see that it's a possible reversal profile for the day. So you have a low set in, you have a high put in, and then you have liquidity, and we come and we run it. So that was my idea with the liquidity lows here, and that low as well, obviously pre-New York, which is 830, midnight level as well, sitting there, and the top quadrant. But liquidity breakout area and imbalance, So they saved it. The reason why this went back up like this is because of the fact that they're setting up liquidity for CPI. CPI is tomorrow. So that is the caveat for today's situation, okay? The difference between any other day or scenario of not rolling through would have been because of the fact that we have CPI tomorrow. And okay, fine, you want to birdie up, you want to consolidate and just make new highs and grind it up, sure. If we're bullish, you would also see that. Yes, it would cross over and just slither up, and then now it's like a breakout area, but we didn't get that full effect. So, hoping this is making sense for you, but these are all higher lows technically, right? But for me, taking this sell here, so we got the 930 here, right? Let's get back into the main video. We made a high here on that gap. It's also the bottom 25% quadrant of that about this daily bearish imbalance that we have highlighted here, which is obviously February 4th. So we're using that. We hit the 50 there initially, remember? And then we came up to the 25. Now we ended up coming past that and trying to squeeze up a little higher. That's the other thing I forgot to mention in yesterday's video is that this is the first imbalance of the month, March 2nd. So I have it dragged out. I forgot to say yesterday that we made a high there. See, look at the body sitting there. I don't know if I mentioned it yesterday. I know I talked about this one, which was Fridays, which would have been Friday's first imbalance. Anyways, but I forgot to mention that. I didn't drag it over. I forgot to mention that. So see that? See how it hits the high there? That was the high of the session initially. And then we pulled back in and then we shot through, right? So, anyways, what was I going to say here? That's just a little side bit. So, back to this here. You can see I'm measuring the 3 candles together. The top candle is really small, so I'm not going to measure it. I do want to see what it looks like now, though. Yeah, this doesn't use it. Yeah. So you see me using the bodies here, and then 101.5 is right here. I got my circle here. So pulling up, if I pulled up the trade here, I initially take this sell here first, and then I get wicked out with this big stupid 944 candle. I also have the opening range gap. So we're in a premium gap. I expect it to come lower, generally speaking, especially with this this easy buying here. But we have the current day gap in this red right here. So we're pretty much above it, below it, above it, below it, which we just did even now, right? So coming below it was making sense here, and then hitting this 101.5 initially. Then that low, the midnight level is in this, it's just this blue line right here, this little green blue line. That's a 25 quadrant, and then I wanted to see if we would get in here. We never ended up getting that. So what happened with me? We push up first initially, and on a seconds chart, and I'm gonna go do it for you. You'll see that we are having 3 drives. That's why I was confident in taking this sell initially. Here, so this is the open, and on a 15-second chart here, you'll see we push up 1. We have a nice, good enough retrace right there. Then we get a push up 2, a nice retrace. Then we get a push up. Forget this indecisive candle. It's not really a pullback enough. Then you get this push up here. That's your, and then, you got your nice little divergence right there. It's on the overbought. I'm going to go back to a 1 minute just so you know I'm not crazy. And then on the 1 minute, it was super overbought here. So I said, okay, I know what you're doing. You're most likely building a lower high here to then fall back in here. So what does it do? Boom. This candle closes here. This 932. See how it closes in like a swing? So it closes in. This is a candidate for a reversal candle. Candle 3 immediately pushes through, right? So you're using candlestick analysis and characteristics even in every candle situation, meaning telling the story, right? But boom, pushes through, comes in. We develop this first imbalance. Well, some will use this one here. And I'm going to actually turn this green just so you can see it. I mean, you wouldn't be wrong if you use this. I used this today. But you wouldn't be wrong if you use this one, because this is actually also the first imbalance of the day, because of the fact that this candle, not only does it cause more of a displacement in the candle as far as the meat goes in the body, but it's also happening once it came inside the opening range gap. Because initially when we pushed up here, you don't count the 930 obviously, but when you get pushed up here, the first imbalance here was a sell imbalance. The problem, or bear imbalance, the problem with this is that it has not even touched the opening range gap or went below it. So it's above it, right? And that's meaning a more high probability would be used this one here, this 944. So you can see that we'll end up using it here. It didn't need it. There's a lot of overkill you can use here, but whatever. We'll get into more of the fire. So anyways, so in the sell here, coming down, pushing down, sealing right there, the opening range gap to the tick perfectly. That's the body sitting there, and then you get this hard push. So initially, I'm going to see this using as a inversion here, and I'm going to use this as a bearish imbalance as the first imbalance. But sell off immediately, comes right back. Boom. So sell 1, sell 2, sell 3, and a fourth. So push down, get stopped out with this stupid ass candle. Then the price comes right into that imbalance that I used here. You can see it. You can see here we pop up for another lower high. Bodies are now leaving it, and I'm entered. Where am I going? I'm going underneath this low here, because now this is equal. Take a look at that low here, which is the 907, and then you have the 944. They have not taken out each other. So when it ran away, my bias was still coming back down. It doesn't matter what the day it ended up doing even. I knew that we were still going to come back down. This is still shallow. And then especially with, the price action here. But on the RSI or whatever, but I was expecting to take out this low, but see how this panned out. So pushes down, I get squeezed out right here, pops me out, and then it comes back up. See this price? See this little internal high that they put in, and then it raised it? Well, it's still a retracement. So this is a lower low. Here you go. So I'll just say from well, you can even say it's 100% retracement, which is very fucking rare. But let me do it this way. So from up here. So here, okay, lower low to lower high, or low to a lower high. Then we get this low to a lower high, and then you get this low to a lower high, and then you get this low, okay, to a lower high, and it stops. It does not take out this guy, but it takes out this guy. Then what happens? It breaks. Obviously, it goes all the way through, right? So as you see the leg coming down here, I'm going to just keep this to the side for a second. You'll see that that's 100% retracement here, right? So with that situation, the real structure was, and I'm going to add to it from the left of this, from the left side. Let me squinch up. This will make sense here. So I'll do it here. So up here, high, higher low. Where is it? So I can touch it. High. Okay, so now when you see it, this was a higher high and this was the higher low. I moved it. Yeah, I should have I should have done that. Okay, so just pretend here is there. Okay, just making this for no reason. All right, so higher high, higher low. So was this going to just be an internal high, which it was, but expecting to be a lower high, or is it going to not? And was it going to buy back from a retracement from this low? That's what happened here in NASDAQ. But see, as you'll see, obviously, as you know, probably, that we fucking S&P and Dow took out the lows. Okay. Now they took out their lows and we had a higher low here, which was the divergence. But I didn't have a bullish bias per se, even though I was flexible to know that it could go by. The reason why is because of, the climate, first of all. And then also, having a raid and pulling back up. If it wanted to go back up, that's fine. So what do? They just bought it from here. But did I have to be involved? No. But take a look here as I continue. So you'll see that the bodies start closing right, or stopping right there on this first imbalance of 930, not the first imbalance there, or this one. But you'll see how you can use this one too. But I got the measurement here, and I'm clearly selling into this. So I end up letting it come right back up into this inversion here, which is this bullish imbalance, the 944. Could be the first imbalance, so you could have used it as well. But in general speaking, I wanted it to sweep the 930, and then from the 930, it'll shoot down for the next low in that structure that I drew. And then also you'll see, okay, so body's leaving there, the first imbalance, then the body's stopping, obviously there, and then coming into here and coming outside. Now we're coming back inside. We shouldn't be this low if you're buying, first of all. And then beautiful sells here. And then what I was saying was this low. See how they retrace. See this high that they put in, and then they put this low, and then they rated it. And if you took this sell and you tried to go through, I ain't mad at you. But what they'll do is they'll put this internal liquidity, and then they'll ram it for the real lower high, which is what? The range from here to here. I can pull out the trade. I just don't want to show trades. But I can pull out the trade. I just don't want to do that. I like being the freedom. You see this low here? This high to the low? Pushing up right here. See that? Right outside. And I'm looking for this type of retracements on the fib mentally, visually, as it's happening. I'm not going to take the trade unless it comes and gives me a discount level entry. So I don't want to pull out the trades. I don't need to. But so say sold it from here, got stopped out. Sold it from here, got stopped out. Pulled up, sold it from here, fucking got stopped out right here. And this was a great decision. And the reason why is because what if it doesn't keep going? What if it stops and reverses, right? Because we already do have structure of bullishness. There is nothing saying I'm trying to be too smart by counter trending until it gets to here when we buy up from this area. Why? I'll show you in a second. But in general speaking, there's nothing telling you that it's selling here, except for me trying to break through and get this liquidity. Naturally, you don't want to see this happen at all, even if you're selling. You wouldn't even want to be selling from here, generally speaking, right? But they didn't go through. So, and even if, and as you see Dow and S&P, they didn't even go all the way through and they still turned around. That's fine. That's fine. The point is that, okay, so we got these channels, all right? Channel down, channel up, channel down, all right? And then this is a channel up. But, okay, when you have, I'm going to move this because this was, actually, I left that there for the projection up. That's right. Okay. So anyways, if we're using this first imbalance here, we come and we tag it, we come down. Now, this bearish imbalance, the reason why I trailed it here, okay, I trailed it specifically here is because I want to see this bearish imbalance stay empty. I do not want to tag in like the way it did here and try to look for another sell or try to just hold it because of the fact that I would want to see this stay empty while it takes out this low. So because it did not and it came back in, so issue number one with holding the sells and not buying. Issue number one, it didn't break the low for NASDAQ. Issue number two, it pops into this imbalance, this bearish imbalance. It pops into it. That's issue number two. Number three, that should have been issue number one. Issue number two, we don't follow through and take that out, that low. Issue number three, when we pop up like this, we come up into it right here. You do not want to see this candle come this high and seal it. And at that moment, that's fine. I'm talking about this 1019. I don't want to see that. But did I get did it wick? No. Did it close strong? Yes. That's not helpful. Number two, did the next candle, 1020, did it come down immediately? No, it did not do that. you are supposed to see a big candle come down on 1020. So because of that, now you get 1020 up back inside. Now you say, oh, that's a lower high, lower low, and then this is a lower high, right? Well, yes, but what you just did is you just engulfed this entire bearish imbalance. So you are already in a buy program, because once every model, every buy or sell model starts with an inversion getting closed over, right? So this was a buy model here, and then this was your start of it changing in delivery, right? You don't even need to wait for the 3 candles for a change of delivery, or even here, because this was a change of delivery too. See these 2 down candles here, and it popped up. So, and it closed above this level. You're like, draw. I'm not drawing it. Sorry, but the point is that that's already a signal of saying, okay, well, we don't even need to wait for all the consecutive candles. But okay, fine. Either way, what does it do? It pops up here and it closes above this high, above this open of the 1006. You ain't supposed to see that for sure if you're selling. So what happens? The bias has flipped and it's now going to retrace back inside the opening range gap. Also with, remember, the present day gap at 6 o'clock Eastern time, New York, you'll see that this, now we went above it and we're bouncing in the middle of it. So kind of X marks the spot thing. There's a little imbalance. I'm not even going to draw that. It's the bottom 25%. You can see that there. And then also, you can even use this inversion here. There's all types of different little things that you could use. You could use this as a support block right here where, and I'll even draw this one. So this is a low, a high, a lower low, and then we break above it, right? So this is a break before it even happens, but notice that you can still buy it inside. And I'm going to highlight the body real quick. It's semantics, but can you even see that? God. It's yellow. That's not going to fucking help either. I'm just going to do, fucking, God. Oh boy, I don't even know what color to use. No. Oh my God. Why is this taking forever now? That's because the opening range gap and the fucking red is right there. I'm gonna use purple. Okay, cool. Fuck me. Anyway, it's so hard to see that, dude. It's sitting on 2 levels back there. But the point is that upper candle is going to get used as support. Okay, so as you see, we come right in and we use it as support as well. Just an extra tidbit. But the point is that you're buying here. You're not selling here. So then what happens? You get this next push up here. All right, you got a shift of structure here and here. All right, this is the real one here. And then you can now use, oh, by the way, I have this bearish imbalance right here, the fucking 954. See that? The macro is kicking and is spooling down. But the 954 here, I also have it dragged out. You'll see how we're using those bodies here. So we push up, okay, with this 1025. We push up. And these last 2 down candles, this is an order block as well. I'm highlighting the top. What do we do? That's also the 930 level. So remember, we're above it, below it, above it, below it, just like the day gap. So you know these things while the price is moving. You should be understanding what it's doing when we are going up and down it, right? So we're above it here. You have an order block, demand block, whatever. You have an imbalance also. They're coupled and nested, and the 930. It tags it, and the bodies stay literally above, first, the actual bullish imbalance there. Secondly, the last line of defense of it going down or not with this bearish imbalance of the 954 dragged out. Look at that. Just X marks the spot, man. Just beautiful there. And then if you want to even use this, you'll see that the bodies are above that 50%. Let me move this over. Okay. And then you'll see it the same, right? So whichever tool you use there, you're not wrong. And it's just reinforcing the understanding of, and I was just using this. when it bought. So here, back to this conversation, you're looking for buys. You already have a push down, which you could have bought this, but if it was too risky, then you get this push up and then this retracement, then that's your buy, right? Okay. Anyways, where are you going? Well, I have this swing here from low to lower high, and I made it all the way to here because I didn't include this as a range. I used this because this was the last lower high to really like push it down before it broke up. It was more meaningful. So I measured it this way. Obviously, your next target would be above this high here, this high and this high, right? And then after that, your ultimate high would obviously of the day's high, the current day's high, right? Which is going to be there that we made on that gap right there. So they came up to it here, straight to the 101.5, beautiful, right through it, bouncing on this last down candle, boom, bouncing real. You're not looking for sells here. You obviously know it's when this is moving up like this, it's buying. Like there's no question. You have your bias of the day even, because this did not pan through, right? And again, you could have still been a buyer after it came down, but the initial dump raid is going to be obvious for the that was my main purpose today of trading. Didn't care about anything else after these sells that I caught. So, and if I usually don't catch like the first big sell, if I usually don't catch that, I'm sorry, let's say it this way. If I do catch the first big sell and I caught all three of them, I will be so comfortable to not take any more trades after that. That's a general speaking because I'm just content. But here, once we're going up, you know that there's still going to be a nice 100-point range from here because you are at the big figure of 25,000 here. That's also incorporated in this whole scenario. And then as you can see, we went up to about 180 points here, right? Initially. So you still have some good range there. And then we made a new high. So after the new high here, okay, beautiful here. I took a new high. After the new high, it raids. And you'll see that we are coupled. I should have just moved this over just a little bit. I don't want to make this too noisy. But you see this? So I'm gonna just keep in mind that daily February 4th right there. I'm gonna be talking about that in a second here. So we coming right back up to that 25%, and then if you take a look, I'm going to squeeze the 4-hour a little more. You'll see that here. We had already took that out. Here, let me go back. See this in London high here? This London high already took that high out here. So when we came up here, we took that high, and then I'm going to get to this high here, which is going to pertain into that high. But let me explain this first. We pushed up, and then we retraced back. Notice how it's a lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So you get the drives back. Ultimately, the reason why they did it this way, because in your so-called bull flag, it's just a retracement, but the way they did it is ultimately their whole goal, once they made this high, their whole goal was to get back to this low. Why? Because once we came above this high, you could see it, just like this scenario here. And that's why we took it out. Once we took out that high, we did it up here, but we're doing these higher high, higher low for support, and it's easy buys right there, right? So they know that. So we had the same thing going on here. This breakout level, it pushes up. It makes a higher low, and then it buys again and pushes back into the down candle. You're like, dude, fucking draw it. I know. I'm just gonna. And I'm not feeling well at all today. I was actually going to go take a nap without even making this video. So I'm pushing the envelope here. But as you can see, the understanding is that we popped up, they created liquidity, and then they pushed up. Nice push up. You get to overbought here. You were oversold here. That's why this was also an inkling of it being the end of the road. And then the VIX will attest to that as well. But instead of you trying to buy, because they know you're trying to buy here. They know it's bullish here. I mean, it's up here. You know what I'm saying? So that being the case, they constantly try to get you in here, and they keep doing this. See, this low makes this high, but it never breaks above. So that's not a secured higher low until it breaks a high. So that's why when it made a new lower high, it makes it know the lower low. Now the guy is thirsty because, okay, oh, we came in, we bought this is support, right? It is oversold. So yeah, it was a nice inducement, and you'd rather see a raid before you take anything. But in general speaking, failed high again. What does it do? This is the real lower low. Then you get the real oversold there. And now the incognito, the whole time they were trying to fucking come here from up here. They finally did it. Once they did that, what'd they do? They made that was your retracement for then a new high. We make a new high playing around here. Notice how they get the drives up here first. And yes, that's structure, but really this was the low. This was the internal high. This was the internal higher low, and then we bust through. You see that? So and then you notice that at 50% from this high that we kept making, and then we came back in from that low to that high, you notice that 50% would be that guy right there. Underneath that guy is 50%. See that? And then, so it's just a leg in the leg, right? It's a fractal situation. I'm just explaining it. You're probably like, why explain that? Well, because if you thought that was selling from here, no, it's bullish. From here, it's bullish, right? And we're not going to fight that. I have no problem. But I'm not saying you had to be a participant or anything. I'm just saying the logic of what it was doing. Closes back in here and then continues those higher highs and higher lows. Okay, makes a new high. Retraces deep. Takes all this out. You're going to say, well, that's a higher low. Yeah, and it could have bought. Guess what? At this point, we have lunch retracing. Actually, I'm sorry. Lunch retraced here initially. We have the PM session kicking in, and then you have 130. Literally, the high of this imbalance, of this bearish imbalance, is the 130 level. The time is involved for the PM session that has been pushing up. So that's why a deeper retracement and or looking for liquidity from the AM session is most likely. And that's exactly what they did. Let me keep this here for a second. So we pushed deep enough, right? It's kind of like an internal break in a way, right? We pushed back up for a lower high. We squeeze this area right here. I'm not even going to draw it, this last up candle. And then here, this leg, you should have seen it keep going. It did not. Right here, it breaks. See, it breaks right underneath it and then tags in, but it wicks. And the bodies are weak. And it's coming right into here. This is your silver bullet for the 4 hour, 2 o'clock candle PM. That's the first imbalance tagging in there. Just like it's the first imbalance of 9:30. You're doing that with the 4 p.m. the 2 p.m. 4 o'clock candle, and that's digging in right there. I'm not going to draw it. It's right there, right? But that's the internal break. So it's possible that they make another low because now they have this liquidity here, plus all the people who thought they were straight after it bought here, right? And what does it do? It immediately rushes forward. Just such a beautiful trade here. Again, I necessarily don't want to participate, but as soon as it does break, it's like, yeah, well, missed that boat in a way, but you've already got these drives here, and that's also the part of the conversation of what I'm trying to say is that I wasn't really looking to be bullish, even though I know that the climate of us should be most likely bearish. But the inflation might do things a little bit differently, but we're getting these drives, right? And I understood that now we have these drives. This would be the fourth drive on this time frame. But if you look at the 4 hour, notice how it is drive 1 right there, drive 2, and then drive 3. See this candle, this 10 to 2 o'clock candle, this made the couple drives. Then the 4 o'clock candle kicked in and it came back. But you can see it on that time frame. If you go to an hour chart, you can see it there too. 1, 2, but not as pretty. See, they tried to give you the idea that was the third drive and it was going to come back. And then it made another one. but you see it on the 4 hour, and you could go to a 3 hour, which I need to use a 3 hour more on these videos. I do it in my analysis though, but I leave it on the 4 hour. But there's very clear that there's 1, 2, and then your third drive. Obviously, more cleaner on that 4 hour for technically. So that's the point. So you're like, why are you saying all that? Because of this sell. Because I know the road is the end of the road is pretty much here. Notice how we have. Okay, here's the other tidbit. Is that look at the range that we're in. Let's just say this is 24,800, and the high here is 25,200. So let's just say that's 400 points. The average range, generally speaking, is I think it's 700 points after all this two crazy ass moves that we've had in these last days. But a day like before CPI and the price stays tight, you're going to look between the 3 and the 400 point range. It might not be that large, right? So that's just excuse me. That's just a tidbit, but the other confluence of the divergence is that NASDAQ took out that high. We did not take out that high, but we took out that high, and these guys didn't even do that yet. So I'm gonna go to I'll go to the 4 hour here just so you can see. I don't want to mark it. I guess I'll mark it. But this high right here. So we snag it, but these guys did not at all. So that is all wrapped up into one. The reason why that has sold. I'll get to a VIX in a second, but that's the reason why this sell here. With now you have that, and you have that structure that I talked about here, and you're going to say, oh, it was a higher low, should have made a new higher high. But that's what I'm trying to tell you. The purpose of this is a little bit shallow for the retracement here. This low, sorry, and this low. I know I'm moving it too much, right? So now pulling through here, it's now hunting where? Right back to the 930. Because we just talked about that whole situation at 930. That was the buy at the 930. So algorithmically, it's coming right back to it. And it also, by the way, first, did I say this already in the video? But in CPI, before CPI, they want to build liquidity above and below. Okay, so it has something to attack on both sides, right? And that's also the reason why we have this 100% fucking retracement. This is very rare. I think you remember the last time I even said that. It was a long time ago. It was in April, I think, even. Was it in April? I think it was on the push up, this last cycle up. But anyways, so that's what that is. But you had a divergence if you had another screen and you saw it. So that's what it is. What it is. Just explaining it. And then now you have, now you have lower highs built here, and then you have higher lows built here. And now it's pennant. It's a pennant. It's equal. It's pretty much got both sides of liquidity, and where is the price going to go, right? And we don't care. Well, wait, let CPI dump and then pump and and all that. That's probably what it's going to do tomorrow. But I hope that makes sense for you. So this is why this can be possibly selling. You had time involved here with the 130, and then you have the 2 p.m. the 4 o'clock candle kicking in, and I told you about this already, and then there you go, hunting right back, right? All right, I gotta move forward. I do too much. Go back to a 5-minute, and then no really divergence work there or anything, so just sold off, just retraced back in, and that was our initial push down. By the way, we had a higher high with Dow, and we had lower highs here. That's initially what was pushing us down. So I was flowing with that bearish flow because of that as well initially. All right, and then VIX here, you can see that we had some room to come back on the oversold. So once VIX started to continue its way back down to make a new low to take out the previous day's low, which would have been here. Not previous day's low, but as you can see the low we made in London, um, we came up. So we started buying up. And once we bought up and this made that new low and that high, you can see overbought here. I'm sorry, oversold here, double bottom there. And then boom, you see this right here? And then now this is creating going back up to the overbought. While VIX is pushing up, we are pushing back down. That's showing you the retracement. So pretty much that. And then dollar is also just kind of it retraced a little bit lower into tried to get into this imbalance. I don't know if it's going to dip into it before it does. You probably want to see this stay empty before it does. Suspension block right there. So, I mean, I guess I could draw it, but I don't really need to. But from the body to body, it's obviously a bullish imbalance. And then I don't even need to do that, but we tagged in that, and then we pushed back up. So that's helping us push back down. And then as you can see here in the lunch time, in the PM session time, dollar starts going back up while we're coming back down. Just a little tidbit. So if you're using these confluences, it's really awesome to be able to reprice action this way. Be confident in what you're doing because you've seen this a million times and you're using the concepts. But as you see here, Dow popped up right into that liquidity right there. This is very common for a rollover. If it's going to sell back off, I don't know. I don't know if they want to run up in here first before they do. I don't, if we're bearish, I just would like to see them just not make a new high. But very logical to push up, and then you have liquidity, imbalance, and breakout level. Look at the trifecta here. Dow took that to the heart. Beautiful. My model right there. And then you'll see that it's just a dump pump, really. So it comes down with the dump and then takes out the current low of the pre-New York, which is 830. And then, and to be honest with you, this was a lot cleaner to me with Dow, which, I barely say that, but why? See the clear speaker here? See, this is exactly what I was trying to do with Nas. And then I would have been more inclined to have bought already once we swept this low because it's a speaker. So if we come down, we come right back to a mean reversion or come above it. This is a perfect play, as you see with Dow, as it pops up here and then it retraces back into the mean reversion, right? So beautiful there. Beautiful. Very typical when it comes to price action of a CPI or NFP or FOMC or whatever. Beautiful though. Again, price is selling here. Shouldn't have shifted above that high. Okay, fine. Comes all the way back. Should have took out that low. If it doesn't, and it's now the price is here, it's buying. Oh, fuck. I have a headache. All right, I got to move forward. So, does that make sense for you there? And then, again, we are still kind of pushing up. But I mean, now you got price action literally underneath the entire consolidation. Not the entire, but most of it. Again, like I told you guys about yesterday, that's why these videos are long. You got to go watch that 25 and 22 where we broke and we just popped up for the lower high, kind of speak. This could be just a lower high and then, continue our way down. We'll see what they do, man. And then, what am I going to say here? That was the last up. You can actually measure this whole thing here, and this might even show you a little more clarity here. Nope, that wasn't helpful at all. I should do here. That's my bad. I haven't really done the analysis for these other assets here, so let's try here. And you don't say to the tick, actually. Wow. Yeah, you don't say. Right? Take a look at that. Nice, good bounce. So one whole standard deviation. Another tidbit, by the way, I don't know, but because we have this crazy, I've never seen price action like this as far as consolidating and staying in a range like this ever since I started trading. So this might be your big major pullback, and they made you suffer and endure this for how long now? Since October? Shit, pretty much. And if that's the case, that would be the only reason why I say we go up from here, right? I mean, inflation, you know, what's it called? Fucking oil still goes up, and etc. Right? If oil doesn't like keep going up, um, if it doesn't keep going up, then I'd say that we might be bullish. If oil does keep going up with dollar too as well, obviously this is what they do, right? This is what they do to increase and prop up. They sell weapons, and I can get into that conversation, but that we would push down for sure if we get some more movement with oil. But as of right now, man, I mean, to me, this is a lower high, so I don't even need to draw it. As you can see here, fake pump, but you get the dump here and then the pump, right? Speaker there, see that? I mean, reversion right there, beautiful. And that's also what I was trying to say with us and in Nas here, which was you could see here this high, this low, this is a higher high, this is a lower low, and then it comes right back to that mean reversion here, which is a nice play. It's a breakout area. You have liquidity, imbalance, breakout area, comes right back up. See, initially when they drop, they get to drive 1 drive, 2 drives, 3 drives, 4, maybe even a fifth, comes to the 930, oversold, comes right back. Logical areas, then all lower highs here. See that? So beautiful there. I don't know what else I could say here. And the logic with all this today was that Nvidia was also just slowly pushing up this whole time, right? So while it was doing that, we were kind of popping up. So that was the 2 cents there. Dead neutral. I mean, what the fuck else am I gonna say here? Man, it really looks very difficult for it to come down. It just, for some reason, it just looks like it's gonna be really difficult to go down. But we're in the seasonality, and man, I don't know if it was gonna drop, man. It should have happened in these first 10 days. Otherwise, the next opportunity for us to come back down is gonna be in what is this? I would say around like the 20th, something like that, around the 20th, where we end up getting another pullback seasonality wise, and it's deeper. The next one after that would be in April. So, and the next pullback after April would be in May, middle of May. So middle of April, middle of May are the next times that it will pull back. So, like, and I'm saying that to say this because where we are right now, it's just very it's difficult to say because of this big raid and this big push back up. It can get really choppy from here. So if I take it day by day, I'm still neutral bearish with the possibility of inflation and manipulation pushing up, but I'm just going to keep it like that, simple as that. But me taking this trade while it pushed up initially first to come back in, I didn't really have to have a bias for that, and that's how I'm going to have lowered leverage and moving forward, with the uncertainty and trading because of the fact that I don't really have a clear understanding. Except I do know that made a new low, and then this came back up. I mean, I'd like to see this not even get rated if we're gonna push back down, you know. So I did draw yesterday examples. Now it's 49 minutes. This is really sucks, man. This really sucks. Um, because fuck, man, I don't want to make long videos. So whatever. And then as you can see, the extension here. I did the whole range here, and then a -2. Look how the high of the day is that -2. One more thing, I'll give you an extra tidbit too, is if you take this range from here to here, you'll see that the -25 is the high of the day as well. See that shit? Well, let me squinch it out right here. See that? So when we're pushing up, this is the other reason I almost forgot to tell you this. I already had it set up to tell you. See that? I have it on the mark. I have it on the fib. Look where the look where 0.25 is. Beautiful. Even better. Now, if it's a shallow run higher, this would be a great place to take profit after this higher low, and you bought here. And what they did is in lunch they pushed it back here, and then they did that. So then if you took another buy here, you can ride that into lunch, so you can go take lunch, and then or also keep you at your seat. And then boom, comes right there. PM session just immediately reverses. Just beautiful. So they're keeping you. Most people have took profit already here. They know that coming back in. Just fire, man. And you expect a 0.25 to get hit. Not even the 0.50. Could have hit the 0.50 if it kept going. I don't know. But look at the confluence of everything I've mentioned in this area here. Also with that high. You see that right there? That high right there. I don't need to draw it, right? I don't need to draw it. It's just this guy only. Oop. Bam. Look at that. Right? So, you're like, dude, how am I supposed to see that or know that? You got to understand these levels and liquidity. You do have to see that. As you see, made the equal low and ran away from it. So, yeah, man, I think I've said enough as far as like expectations of drawing now that CPI is here. Again, I've said this already in yesterday's video, so, oh my God. So, are we in this situation here where we took that low and then we pushed back up and then we're just like going to roll over? See how this next candle pushed up and we actually sold pretty hard? Well, this is what I wanted to see today in a sense, but it just didn't do that. And then also back in 22 here, you'll see the same idea. Remember, we broke these lows and we popped up like that was a reversal candle today. So it's starting to look like this so far. So where this next day, which is Tuesday, which is today for us is Tuesday, we pushed up and we closed. We closed. I think we're closing as a bullish. We might be closing as a bullish day, but anyways, where am I? Here. And then look at Wednesday, pops up again. You're like, dude, this thing ain't selling. And then what happens? Fucking Thursday sinks it. So, but the point is the structure. Am I overkilling this? I think I'm overkilling this shit. All right. If you're new, that's the whole point of what I'm saying. Are we in this scenario right here? That's why I'm not leaving the bearish off the table. Bro, with the amount of stuff that they're saying on the news, bro, and the shit that's happening, you're crazy. This thing should, we hit this. My next level would be fucking, what if we get a big sell-off? 23,465, man. Ain't no question. Well, let me rephrase that. 23,400. Above that, and then this low, and then coming into this next agenda here. Not saying all tomorrow or nothing, people, but yeah, man, it's kind of like we just sat underneath this price action. Oh shit, yeah. Like just super, just eyeballing this shit. I'm just not, but look at it, right? So, and then here's oil. I know I didn't bring this up. As you see, we popped up here. Took out the liquidity from the easy sellers here. This is a daily chart, right? Yeah. And then shot back all the way down. Let me go to a 4-hour. Shot all the way down. Why is it not 4 hours? Okay. And retrace deep. So here's the situation. If the price, why do you think they did that? Well, they had all these easy lower highs on the daily. I mean, dude, so obvious. Fucking gapped up. Anyways, came back deep. If this starts pushing up and it makes a new high even, then we're in that bearish economy for sure we talked about. If it stays down here, it is likely that we do push up, but I'm not, again, I got to take it day by day, and I'm doing this analysis live and thinking live with you, right? So, that's kind of how I'm going to use that. And is there anything else I wanted to say here? And it doesn't even have to take this high out. I mean, again, it most likely it should, but we'll see what they do. Um, but I don't know what else to say, man. You guys take care. God bless.